Are you a coach, consultant, small business owner, or online entrepreneur? Do you want to significantly grow your business, triple your list, and double your sales conversions? If the answer is yes, then launching a podcast is the next step. You see, being an expert in your field, having a website is no longer enough to be noticed in today's marketplace. I call it the influencer effect. Being an influencer is the key. You see, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And having your own podcast helps people to connect with you. If you're interested in having me help you launch your own podcast, grow your influence, and promote your business, then go to influencergrowthformula.com. That's influencergrowthformula.com. And let me help you rise to the top.
And now, welcome to Like a Boss, insights with influencers, creatives, online entrepreneurs, and badasses like you. Here is your hostess, Heather Havenwood, Chief Sexy Boss, helping you rise to the top.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Heather Havenwood, and welcome to Like a Boss, insights with influencers, entrepreneurs, and badasses like you. Okay, super excited today to interview a dear friend of mine, which is going to be a ton of fun. So buckle your seatbelts or your computer. I don't know what to say about that. Check it out. So this is going to be a lot of fun. You can find us, by the way, that you're listening to Like a Boss. You can find us on Roku, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora soon. I say iHeart, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play. Super excited to have you here. And I want to introduce to you Diane Conklin. Diane, you there?
Hey, I'm there. Hey, everybody. Hey, Heather. It's good to be here.
Thank you. This is going to be a ton of fun. Let's see. All right, we're going to dive in. So I want to let y'all know first, by the way, it kind of feels weird me reading her bio because I've known her a long time. I think 2002 or 2003.
Probably. Yeah, I was going to say 15 years. So
it's a long time. We're not that old, though. We're young. Okay, so I'm going to tell you who Diane Conklin is. She's an internationally known author, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, marketing and business strategist, implementation strategist, and speaker. Diane is a direct response marketing expert who specializes in showing business owners how to turn their business into money-making machines using rapid profit acceleration, leverage business growth, and strategic implementation through complete marketing systems. All right, so I'm so good to have you here. You have a ton of experience. But people need to know, like, you're the kind of person I call and go, I got an idea. Can I run this by you? Right? You're a mentor. You've been my coach. You're a dear friend, but you're the person I call. I'm like, I got this idea. Could you tell me? What do you think?
Right. Can you talk me up or can you talk me down?
Yeah. It's like, talk me off the ledge or tell me, like, not bad. So you got to have those kind of people in your life. And so it's super fun to interview you. That's cool. Right? So let's talk about this. I want just people to share with you, how did you get in this business? How did you get here?
Ooh, study. I always knew. So I have a master's degree, as you know, in exercise science, and I was in that industry, and there was always kind of this, just something, there was something that wasn't quite complete. Something didn't feel quite right. And just by happenstance, I started studying marketing and going to events and reading and going to more events and buying more courses and fell in love with marketing, sort of like I did the fitness business. And one thing led to another. I spent a year working for a mentor that we both know for free, and ended up helping him run his business for a few years, and finally said, you know what, it's time for me to, do my own thing independently. And, the rest, as they say, is history. Very blessed that I've never made less than 6 figures in my business from the very first year. And, made a lot of great contacts. And one of the things I love about it is, you start out business associates and you become friends, just like we have. So, yeah,
that's really true. It's a tight knit group sometimes not so good. That's another podcast. Okay. Right. That's gossip like a boss. I'm just right. We should do that actually. We have a lot of fun. So, I remember, I think I was there when you were actually voted Glazer Kennedy Marketer of the Year. What year was that? Because I think I was there. I'm pretty sure I was
I
there.
think it was 2000. It was either 2011 or 2012 in there somewhere. So
I remember you being on stage. You might have been getting it that year or being recognized the next year, right? So I remember you being on stage, and I thought that was really awesome because you're one of the few women.
Yeah. Actually, at that time, and I don't know how much it's changed since, I was the second woman to ever have won it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, the marketing space is primarily, it's changing a man's world. It's cool, but it has been for a long time. I remember you too being one of the only women like a sea of guys, right? So
right.
we're kind of used to that. All right, so let's just dive in, right? So one of the things we were talking about in the green room, cool things about marketing funnels and how everyone's like, gotta get a funnel, and hacker funnels coming up, or hacker funnels is coming up, and traffic conversions coming up, all those good things. But what do you say about that?
I'm going to tell you that you don't need a marketing funnel.
That's kind of ballsy, girl.
Right. I know it is. But, here's the thing, Heather. People get carried away with this. It's like there's some magic. There is no magic to the marketing funnel. The
right.
magic is you, right? So look, it's not that you don't need a funnel, but here's my definition of a funnel, right? My definition of a funnel is it's the theoretical journey that a client takes, a prospect takes to become a client. Then it's the other theoretical journey that the person takes once they're doing business with you through the process, right? That's what a funnel is. Look, you can draw up a 79-step marketing funnel. The question is, does it work?
Mm-hmm.
Is it converting?
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting clients? More to the point, are they dumping money in your account? Right? If it's not, then something's wrong, and you've spent all that time. Notice I didn't say you invested all that time. You spent all that time doing all that work for what? Well, because somebody said I need a marketing funnel. Well, how about this marketing funnel? Hi, Heather, this is Diane. How you doing today? I have something I want to talk to you. The world's shortest marketing funnel right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So we get all caught up in this, this program and that program. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of those things, but they're not magic. You're the magic, and people forget that.
Yeah. And I call it being in conversation, so one of the things I've learned, I just recently did a launch and I did the funnels, kind of thing. But at the end of the day, where I got the money in my bank account is when I got on the phone and had a conversation. When I had the conversation of like, okay, you went through this funnel, you didn't maybe purchase, but how can I help you? What's going on there for you? Why did you even opt in the first place? What happened here? I think that's one of the biggest things that I look back now, who purchased my last do-it-yourself podcast launch, and there was only one that bought with me never talking to them ever.
Yeah.
All of them had some kind of conversation with me where they moved to the next level, because people want to know that if they purchase something, it's not just another fly-by-night deal.
Right, because here's the deal. When you and I got started online, here was the thing. The saying was, remember the little comic strip, right? On the internet, nobody knows you're a dog, right? You could be massively overweight selling weight loss products. It's not.
I know people that did that.
Right, of course they did, right? But it's not like that anymore. It's not, right? We've built up a high degree of skepticism. Here's the other thing though, Heather. While I believe that that's true, right? People want the relationship. And you and I both know, going back to our event days, that the number one easiest way to fill an event is when you have a great relationship with your list. That doesn't mean that you're talking to them every day on the telephone, right? There are a lot of ways to do this. But the misconception is, that I hear a lot right now, is we have to build know, like, and trust. So we have to give them these 27 steps of little pieces of content before they're going to buy. Well, okay, let's talk about know, like, and trust. If you had a condition and you had to go to a special doctor, and you walked in and the doctor walked in and said, hey, Heather, I need for you to take off your clothes and put on this paper gown, right?
Things are so horrible.
But I mean, seriously, right? Would you look at him and say, well, excuse me, doctor, but we have to establish know, like, and trust before I'm going to do that? No, you do it, right?
Right.
Why? Because who knows? You've been referred because of the position he holds, because you have a problem that needs to be solved.
I just like the paper thing.
You're stuck on that image, aren't you?
I'm still like I really like the paper on my skin. I'm just kidding. Like the thing that your butt's hanging out. You're like, can I cover this? Will someone cover this?
Right.
Sorry, I just got the image. But it's true. Like when you walk into the office of a doctor, you know you're there for a reason. You have a problem. The job there is to fix it. So uncovering your business, uncovering yourself so they can look at and diagnose. And it's your body.
And you know what? We should be doing the same thing when we're ready for here's the bad word. You ready? Selling people, right?
What?
Right?
Yeah, seriously, selling people.
Right.
Like a boss.
Nothing happens in the world without something being sold, right? Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. I call it prescriptive selling. Right? When I get on the phone with somebody or I'm talking to somebody about coming to an event or coaching with me or whatever it is, right? It's not a one size fits all. And that's what people try to do, even with their marketing funnels, right? It's here. Ready? Hang on.
Right. What is it?
The only place that this works, this is a cookie cutter, in case you didn't know. I have 3 of them on my desk. Okay. The only place this works is in the kitchen for making cookies. It doesn't work in business. So when you set up these funnels, you're trying to fit, it's a one size fits all, right? Well, look, I bought a headband the other day that's one size fits all. Because it ties in the back, so it really is one size fits all.
I bet you would look good in a headband. I just got to go there for a minute because I can totally see you.
Like a rock.
Wait a minute. I so want you to send me a picture of you right before you walk in the gym with a headband because that's so 80s, girl.
I totally do because I sweat so bad.
Okay, that's so 80s. What? Okay, sorry. But I do love this analogy because you're right. Because you're right. I love that you have cookie cutters. If you're listening to this versus visualizing this podcast, is that she has what I call the metal cookie cutters. Right? So it looks like it's a Christmas tree or something. So
this one it's actually a horse head. Right?
Okay, there you go. See, I didn't know what it was. So a horse head and then your cookie cutter. You're right. All of these solutions out there right now are very cookie cutter. Yeah. And the challenge is, and you said it earlier, and I did the same thing. I cannot tell you. I stopped counting at 450 seminars that I've been to. Either I bought or someone gave me or I created, but I've been to so many different events and seminars where I learn. And a lot of them were cookie cutters, but the best ones weren't. The best ones said, who's in the room? What do you need? How can we serve you? Let's figure it out. You know, those were the best ones I learned the most because you can learn from other people's challenges and figuring out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, that's the problem with all these big funnels, right? Well, I've got 38 steps and they have to go through them. First of all, most people don't go. That's why I said it's a theoretical journey. Mm-hmm. Most people don't go through the funnel the way you set it up, right? Oh, there's a lot of people come in here, right? It's a funnel. A lot of people come in here at free or no charge, and a few come out the bottom. Look, the very first thing that I did with a coach that I worked with a few years ago, that is one big bottle. You know, I didn't have her free CD. I didn't have any of her courses. I didn't have anything. I went from knowing who she was to a 5-figure coaching program, right? So that's why I said it's theoretical. And am I saying that you don't need to do these things? No, but what I am saying is, like I always say, you need to test and measure. You need to know what's working, and you need to constantly be tweaking and looking at, okay, how do I shorten this, right? Yeah. What are the things that I can do so that instead of somebody taking a year to convert, I can convert them in 6 months or 1 month, right? How do we speed that process up? And you only know that by looking at what you're doing.
Right. So I'm laughing because if you weren't watching, I have this very large bottle of water that I promised myself I would drink. So while she was talking, I'm drinking water and she's like, oh my gosh, I think it's huge. It's a half a gallon, by the way. It's like,
I knew it. Well, I was going to say it was a half a gallon.
It's a half a gallon. Yeah, I'm drinking 2 a day. So 2.5 a day. Anyway, so I agree with you. I think one of the things I remember Ryan Dice saying this about Dan Kennedy. how people force people into funnels. I mean, Dan's got quote unquote some funnels of $47, $7, and all the way up to everything else.
Sure.
And I remember it was on a CD that I was listening to, and Ryan Dice said, I didn't want to deal with any of that. I just want to go right to him. And so he skipped all that and went right to, I think at the time it was his private mastermind.
Yeah.
His point was allow people to opt in or buy wherever they want to.
Right.
You know, like you said, you're like,
when you walk onto the car lot, right? They don't make you buy the Corolla, right? You can buy the Corolla, you can buy the 4Runner, you can buy the Highlander, whatever, right? And if you go to one of those lots that got all kind of cars, you can buy anything you want. But we do that, right? We try to pigeonhole people. No, I want you to buy this. No,
right.
Look, and when I do prescriptive selling, what I do is I say to people, look, this is where I think you would fit best. But if that doesn't fit for you, I don't say it this way, but essentially I don't start them always at the highest either. I tell them this is where I think it's best. If that doesn't fit for you, then let me tell you about the next level, not the next level up usually, right? But the next level below that. And you got to be careful how you word that, because people don't want to think that they've dropped down a level, right? But not every program that you have, look, not everybody should be working one-on-one with me.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, that's right. I mean, I recently had a conversation yesterday who was referred to me, and I said, well, I have a do-it-yourself thing, but what I'm hearing is this is a whole nother level. And I said, that's one-on-one, and that's us. We do it for you in consultative. Is that more fit for what you're looking for? And he's like, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, great. So I'm not even going to have him go into a do-it-yourself.
Right.
It's not what he wants.
I talked to him about that. It's not the right thing, but you don't know that when you're trying to cram 900 emails down somebody's throat into this set marketing funnel. But it sounds good.
It does sound good.
And here's the other thing, Heather, it keeps you very busy. You can be very busy working on that funnel. You're not productive, but you're busy, right? And busy is a drug that way too many people are addicted to these days. Mm-hmm. Be productive.
Which what you're saying, be productive, is basically, I would say for me, I call it getting in conversation, getting inside of an engagement conversation. It could be phone. It could be a back and forth on an email. It could be back and forth on Messenger or LinkedIn or whatever. At least you're engaging in some kind of conversation of how can I help you? I just had a conversation yesterday with a guy, and I think about how did he get in the conversation? I remember he does insurance and he recruits. Now it's not going to end up working together, but I got his mind going, and he was like, wait a minute, I could really use this over here. We're not there yet, but this could be really something we could put into second, third quarter. All right. I'm like, yeah. So the fact that they said no, now I built that level of relationship. He knew now what I offered, and then they go from there. I just think you're right. I think that one of the biggest challenges people see is they see these marketing funnels and they see that it's the only way to go, and they have to create this big funnel out there to make it work. So can you give people steps if they're listening, they're going, okay, that sounds great, Diane, but how do I get clients then? How do I do this?
Well, look, depending upon where you are in your business, one of the easiest things, you and I talked about this just a little bit ago, right? One of the easiest things to do is to go on social media. If you want to engage and get a client quickly, and look, you can be skeptical about this all you want. I'm going to tell you this right now. I made 6 figures in 90 days doing exactly what I'm going to talk to you about right now. So be skeptical if you want to be skeptical, but it works. Okay. Here's what I did really simply. I went into groups. You could do this on LinkedIn. You could do this on Facebook. I went into groups and started answering questions and connecting with people. Sometimes, because it's my personality, right? Sometimes I take the contrarian view. Now, it's authentic who I am. If somebody comes up and says, for example, hey, I just developed a 79-step marketing funnel, my question is going to be why, right? Or, hey, I need a business plan. Here's one that actually happened. I need a business plan. Where can I go to get a business plan? And my question is, what do you need a business plan for, right? You need a marketing plan. A business plan, unless you're going to the bank or to a venture capitalist, you're never going to use it. It's going to change anyway, right? And so I went in and did a relatively long post. And here's the key, right? Is I'm engaging because I'm doing this long post. Everybody else is going to say, oh, I can help you. DM me. or here's a link to somebody. I'm creating content in a several paragraphs. Most of my posts are like this long, right? Whereas most of them are like this. Why? Because it gets attention. People are like, wow, look at that. She has something to say. And whether they agree or disagree, it does what I want it to do, which is start a conversation. I went back and forth with one woman probably 6 or 8 times because she kept talking about this business plan. And I kept saying, please tell me why you think you need a business plan, right? But it works. And so what happens is I engage on the page for a while, and then I'll say something like, maybe we should take this into Messenger so that we're not filling up the whole feed with this. People go, I have more of a conversation, figure out, are they qualified, right? Are they somebody who I should be working with? And I can do that inside of Messenger relatively quickly. And then sometimes I'll say to you, hey, you know what? This is getting kind of long. Do you have 5 minutes now? Maybe we can chat. Or would you like to schedule an appointment? I did 6 figures in business doing just that over a 90-day period. It worked, right?
Oh, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
An hour or 2 a day. I'm not talking about spending 8 hours on Facebook or 10 hours a day on LinkedIn.
Right.
So, those are the things. And then what I do is I look at, the other thing you were talking a minute ago about looking at things and engaging. The other thing that you can be doing that's productive is looking at your numbers, right? So if you already have funnels set up, where are people dropping off? Where are they buying, right? Go in and analyze your numbers. Take an hour once a week and look at, what's changing in there. How are people opting in? Where are they coming from? What are the steps they're taking? Some of my emails actually say, reply to this email. I want to know what your biggest challenge is. If you can get people to do that in one of the first few steps, you got them.
Yeah. Like what are the 3 biggest challenges, or what's your single biggest challenge of? I did a whole email campaign I created for a client, and once they opted in, the first email was, hey, thanks for opting in. What's your single biggest challenge on X? And it was fascinating. We got some really interesting responses. And so I started taking that data and I go, we need to create a product to fix this.
Yep, exactly.
And that was it, because I kept getting the same thing. And then I said, okay, this is what they're saying. How do we use that in copy? How do we use that in sales copy or headline copy, right? So that I know what they want. I mean, that's 101. Get inside the mind of your potential buyer. And the challenge is that, and I know this, for me especially, I know so much that I forget what I know. And I forget where people are at. Like, it's more like kind of going back into the swimming pool and going, what's your biggest challenge? Because I've learned so much after 20 years in business that I feel like I have to go back and go, okay, I want to make sure I'm really listening to you guys. Because if I'm not on the ground going, what do you really need? What do the people want? What are the people really needing? Then I'm out of touch. Just like politics, the politicians are so focused on DC, but when's the last time they walked around Harlem? When's the last time they walked around East LA and got into realness, what's really going on in the country? I mean, I'm not going politics, but you get the analogy of like, we get so caught up in our side, we don't move into what's really going in the world or what really people need.
Yeah, what's really happening in people's businesses? What are their challenges? What are the things that they need? And, as that's why I start my events out with, what's the number one thing you want to get out of this event? Right? Because that really tells me a lot about what's happening. And many times they're, relatively the same. But again, it's prescriptive, right? When you're asking that question in that email and then doing things based on the answers, it's still prescriptive selling.
Yeah, it completely is. I love that. So you did 6 figures in 90 days.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And anyone can do this. Everyone's got Facebook. It's free.
Right.
Heads up.
An hour or 2 a day, right? So look, here's the other thing, right? Here's another big myth. Oh, the person with the biggest list wins. No, I didn't have 100,000 names that I was slamming with email. I didn't go out and do some big, expensive direct mail campaign. I used what we all have available to us. I found a couple of really good groups that were responsive, that were my client base, right? My target market. And I just went in and started answering questions. You know, I've got a friend who said this very thing to me years ago on LinkedIn. He had over 1 million contacts on LinkedIn, and that's the only thing he ever used for marketing, was going into groups and answering questions and commenting, and that's how he got business.
Wow. That's impressive. I've never done that. I've done a lot of focus on LinkedIn. That's interesting. So what is the one thing you had to overcome to do that? Or what did you do next? I mean, it sounds kind of easy and simple.
You know, it's the same thing that the same fear everybody has, right? The fear of being told no, the fear that you're going to make somebody mad, the fear that people are going to say, you know, why are you doing, you know, whatever. But you know what? Once you get people on the phone and you're talking to them and they get, and this happens for me, right? They get that, like, I'm not trying to oversell them. They get that if they say, no, this isn't the right time, we're still going to walk away friends, right? I'm not the person who's going to say something stupid like, well, gee, you know, Heather, if you just give up that one Diet Coke a day, you could afford this, right? Or, you know, well, gee, you know, Heather, what happens when little Johnny says he wants to go to Disney? Are you really comfortable looking at him saying, well, we can't afford to go to
my
Disney?
God, that's so old school. I know who you're talking about, by the way.
But it still happens, right? It's that high pressure sales. Oh, so you really weren't serious. You're really not serious about your business. I don't do all of that, right?
Sorry,
I'm just me. And I say, look, how can are you interested in work? If that doesn't work, are you interested in staying connected and working with me on some level? Yes. Okay. Then is this in your budget? Well, then let me tell you about this, because here's what I know. If I can get people working with me in some way, shape, or form, whether it's $10 a month, $1,000 a month, doesn't matter. They're going to stay, and they're going to eventually upgrade into the next thing as they get the skills and abilities and start to make more money.
Mm-hmm. It's just yeah, because you've proven your worth to them.
Yeah,
you've proven that. And I had a conversation with someone earlier this week, and it was quite interesting. She's got a business coach, a marketing coach, and a sales coach. And I'm the marketing coach. And without disclosing and all that, I was the last one to come on board per se. But not all the coaches, but one of the coaches, everything I say and have her moving towards in the world of what's happening and working today. That's my big thing, is what's happening working today, help you with what's happening working today, is completely is pushing her in a whole other direction. It's very old school. And so, and then she looks at me and goes, I didn't hit my goals this year. And I'm like, you have two coaches that you're listening to that are going into different ways. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to change what's happening. You know, so it's an interesting thing as far as marketing coaches. I think when she turned to me, this is my point. Turned to me and goes, okay, I'll listen to you. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get people to listen to me, just like vice versa. We've been around so long. We see what works, doesn't work, what survived 2008, what didn't survive 2008, right? Yes. What works over time. It's all about going back to a little bit what I call old school, which is a human to human engagement. You just engage it in a conversation.
Well, and here's the other piece, right? The other piece is that it's not cookie cutter. You know, as you well know, every person that I work with is an individual. And so, you know, when I'm coaching, I don't coach the exact same thing with, you know, if I talk to 4 people in a day, it's 4 separate different conversations with 4 levels of advice. And, you know, that's the other piece of it. And, you know, somebody said to me, you know, just the other day, Diane, what's your niche? And I said, my niche is diversity. And the reason my niche is diversity is because I love name an industry I've worked in it or coached it or consulted with it or done for you in it. And what I love about that is that the advantage I think it gives me is like you, right? I can take something out of insurance and apply it over here in a medical setting. And I can take something out of the catering business over here, and we can tweak it a little bit and use it over here in this, for this author or for this, you know, coach or for this quilter or whatever. And so being able to pull those things and put all of that different experience together, I think is a huge asset instead of I only work with attorneys.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's actually very accurate. People want to put you in that box. Do you work with coaches, authors, and speakers? I'm like, no, I work with business owners, and that could really variety, even e-commerce businesses. Yeah, that's interesting. So, okay, how can people get a hold of you? And they go, I like her. She's awesome. By the way, you should totally hire her. How can people get a hold of you?
Sure. The easiest way is they can go to the website. It's CompleteMarketingSystems.com. You can go to any of the social media outlets and just put in my name, Diane Conklin. That works. If email works better, info@CompleteMarketingSystems.com. All of it's on the website. So if you just go to CompleteMarketingSystems.com, there's an 866 number there. The email's there. All of the social media buttons are there. That's probably the easiest thing.
You're everywhere. That's good. Awesome. So I just want to acknowledge you and thank you so much for being here. And, part of this show today is really talking about how you don't need a marketing funnel to get business. You don't have to wait to create a marketing funnel and a perfect website and blah, 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 blah to start selling. That is what Diane said today. So you don't have to have this perfect website and marketing funnel. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. You can start selling right now. You don't have to wait to have this the perfect book, perfect website, the perfect right. You can start selling today. Woo!
And you know what? If you can start selling today doesn't resonate, you can start making money today. You don't need the perfect funnel. You don't need a book. You don't need the perfect product, the perfect website, the perfect anything. All you need is you.
Yeah, that's true. Make money today versus selling today. Yeah, people get reserved that. Start making money today. And you don't have to have a website. You don't have to do that at all. All right, everyone, this is Heather Havenwood. Thank you so much for being here. Diane, thank you so much for being here. At CompleteMarketingSystems.com, Diane Conklin, go check her out. And again, this is Heather Havenwood, Like a Boss. You can find us at HeatherHavenwood.com. Like a Boss, you can find us on iHeart, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and Roku. All right, everyone, have a great day. Bye.
Have you ever wanted to stop the 9-to-5 grind and start your own company? Do you want to have more control of your income and your time? Then now is that moment to start and grow a successful business. As a female entrepreneur, I have succeeded. I have bit the dust. I have bounced back to growth and prosperity. But this would not have been possible without first taking the leap and owning my own business. But I didn't do it alone. I hired my first business coach 13 years ago. And now I help small businesses, solo practitioners, and professionals double their income and triple their time off. So let me help you too. My gift to you today is a free one-on-one strategy session. So go to coachwithheather.com, coachwithheather.com, and let me help you double your income and triple your time off.
Thank you for listening to Like a Boss, helping you rise to the top. Join Heather's mastermind at influencertribe.com, where she helps you become an influencer and dominate your field. Follow Heather Havenwood on Instagram. Interested in interviewing or scheduling a call with Heather? Go to callwithheather.com. For more, go to heatherhavenwood.com.